Anyway, he's changed items that people have tried to submit onto the agenda. He has refused to put items on the agenda for people that he didn't go along with or he thought was going to cause a problem. And in closing, I would like to submit the rest of the petitions that we have. We have 1,221 signatures on petitions that we have collected over the last year. I finally gave up. By now I could have had 12,000 or even 20,000. And I also have some I would like to submit that were done by some other people. And this says, we, the undersigned residents of the town of Pahrump, do hereby request the removal of William Kohlberger from the position of town board manager for the following reasons: behavior unbecoming of a town official, unethical conduct, making false statements through the news media to the public and to the sheriff's department, being rude and malicious in his attitude and behavior, and committing character assassination and slander on the citizens. Thank you.
Dina Erdag, citizen. The town manager works for the town board, and the town board was elected by the people. So I think it's very important that you do listen to the people. However, when it comes to personnel issues, and the agenda item right here is a personnel issue, you need to evaluate the person as that person's supervisor. And in a month and a half, I don't feel that you have enough information from his personnel record. You may have public opinion, but you don't have working relations with your employee that you can make a determination as to whether you're going to extend a contract or terminate his employment. If you go just on what people say, or maybe some actions that you may have seen without all of the detail, you may be making a false decision. A perfect example is Mr. Culkin. I've seen him at town board meetings, and I've seen him act out, and I've not been impressed. However, since he decided to take responsibility and run for an office, I've been very impressed because he's shown that he has the ability to be on our board and to make decisions. And I think you need to give everybody that works for you that same ability to prove themselves when you give them a task and responsibility that they need to live up to. So I ask that you take the agenda item as it's written, that you vote for that agenda item, that you make your decision based on your own experiences in your supervision of your employee. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Patty Patterson, and I just wanted to say what one citizen said earlier: you earn respect. I was there and witnessed the night that Bill Kohlberger was in Fred Holmes' face, the man that walked up here with a cane tonight. I was there. I was standing right next to him. And then I later seen what happened with Don Cox. I lost all respect for that man that night. I have no respect for you whatsoever, and I want him gone as a tax-paying citizen.
Seeing nobody else up for public comment, we do have a motion on the table to
if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr.
I have listened to the public comment, and obviously by an overwhelming result, the public's not impressed with Mr. Kohlberger's performance. I still stand by the fact that the previous board collectively allowed this man to do his job in the manner that he did it. I have owned businesses. I've had people work for me, and I've worked really hard. I've had people work for me that didn't do the job right when I got done when they did. I believe that this board would at least like an opportunity to try and manage the town manager's office in the manner that the public wants. I believe we have an obligation to try that, and I believe that we should ethically and morally try that. And so I'd like to change my motion, if I may, because I've listened to the town board and I've listened to the people, and I try really hard to be a fair person. And I believe what's fair is this, to extend the contract for 3 months, including the trigger date by 3 months. Mr. Kohlbarger would have 10 days to respond to accept these terms. If he does not want to accept these terms, then he would consider this notice that we're not going to renew his contract. What I'm saying is what I mean. I want an opportunity. I can't speak for these other people, but I want an opportunity to seek to address the challenge that I've heard you people talk tonight, and I want to at least try. And I hope you'll support me in that. Thank you. I wanted to change my motion to 3 months, and as I read. So.
You have no second.
Did you have a second
Well,
to the original motion?
Yes, Vicky seconded the original motion.
Yeah, we have original motion for 6 months.
What he's,
I'm asking, I'm withdrawing my motion, and so I'm asking you to withdraw your second, and then I'm making a motion to extend the contract, offer to extend the contract for 3 months, including the trigger date by 3 months. And Mr. Kohlbarger has 10 days to decide if he wants to accept the 3-month extension. And if he doesn't want to accept the extension, he has 10 days to decide. Then he would consider this notice that his contract is not going to be renewed. And I'm saying that my intention is that this board should have an opportunity to change the image of the town manager's office and make it what you people want. And I'm asking you to support this, that we have a chance to do what we need to do. We can't be responsible for what the last town board collectively allowed to happen, but we should be able to have an opportunity to try to change things in a manner that the public accepts and is happy with. I just think that's the right thing to do. I'm not the kind of person that, I said when I ran for office that I was prepared to go to work. I've been involved. I said that I'm not going to do just what the audience wants. I always said that I believe my job is to do what was in the best interest of the public. And if I'm correct, down the road you'll thank me. How many of you would come up here and tell me that you wouldn't be thankful if this board was able to get this town manager's office to respond the way you want and things to change? Now, how many of you wouldn't want to see that happen? I mean, let's at least give it a chance. This is a new board. I've been listening to this board talk tonight, and I don't see any patterns going. Everybody's an individual here making up their minds. Give us a chance to try to turn things around, please. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, can I ask if Mr. Culkin would consider an amendment to that motion to add an evaluation during that time period, an objective evaluation, a 360 evaluation that Mr. Darby mentioned?
Certainly.
Is there still opportunity for to change the motion?
With the amendment, I'll second that, and then we can have discussion.
I thought we did discussion.
Oh, okay, on the other motion, but.
Mr. Chair, if I may, just a clarification on the motion. I heard a few things there. We wanted was a motion to extend the period or authorize the town attorney to enter into negotiate to extend the period by a period of 3 months. Is that what I heard?
That's correct, and the trigger date.
Okay. Also, to require that, to attempt to negotiate that Mr. Kohlbarger responds within 10 days of what date?
10 days starting tomorrow.
Okay, so either to accept or reject
Yes.
the
And
3-month extension within 10 days?
yes, and by rejecting, then he would consider that notice that his contract's not going to be renewed.
Okay, and then by rejecting the offered extension of 3 months, you're then having that be a notice that his contract will not be renewed?
That's correct.
Okay, so we're now changing which in effect changes the 120-day notice that's already in the existing contract.
He's moving it 3 months.
Well, he
Well,
has
he's
to,
moving it back 3 months, and then by not accepting the negotiated contract, you're putting him on notice that right then and there, you're not going to intend to renew his contract, which would be before
Yeah, right.
the trigger date of February, which is in the contract now. So we're doing a lot of
Can't do that.
things here with the contract that I would prefer. I don't have any issues.
well, as you said, we have time. Okay, then we can strike the part of, he can consider that we're not going to renew his contract, because he would have 10 days to, 10 days to let us know if he wants to accept the extension or not. Then that gives us time as a board to react to that.
Okay, well, since you're requesting the town attorney to negotiate an extension of 3 months, I would prefer you just leave it at that. Let us go and contact Mr. Kohlberger, begin the negotiations, bring it back to the board if we can in fact agree to get the extension for 3 months. And leave all the other provisions in place that if in fact he doesn't agree, then we have to address the trigger date of 120 days before the current extension, which is in February.
Well, that's why I'm asking for an answer within 10 days, so we have time to address that issue.
You want to make that a condition of the negotiation? I'm just not sure what happens if he doesn't respond within 10 days.
Well, if he doesn't respond in 10 days, then that means he doesn't accept the offer of the 90-day extension, and then this board will readdress the issue of what we're going to do then.
Okay, so you're making an offer to extend the contract by 3 months, giving him 10 days within which to accept the offer?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I clarify? I feel we have a few options, but I just want to make sure that we're choosing within the motion the right option. We can terminate without cause at any time. We can terminate with cause, but we need to do an objective evaluation if we were to do that. We can terminate with stipulations, which is what you're doing now, I believe.
No.
No, we're not.
No, we're just-
Termination, it's just the end of a
Just-
contract.
Okay, we're negotiating with stipulations then.
Just
And,
negotiating, are you gonna extend his contract or say adios?
Or-
But there's no firing anybody.
or we can do an agreement not to renew, and then the town manager, if it does not wish to continue on a 3-month basis, appoints, we can appoint an interim.
What I'm doing here is I'm listening to the public, I'm listening to the board, I'm trying to be fair, so I feel 90 days is enough for this board to decide what it wants to do. And so we would offer Mr. Kohlberger an opportunity to have his contract extended by 90 days, and then if he just, and I want to know we would want to know within 10 days whether he wants to accept that or not. And if he doesn't want to accept a 90-day extension, then we're back where we started.
With any of
Which
the
means
other,
that we have all the options you said, and we have to just, come up with something
Yes.
by the end of February.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr. Waters.
if I may, looking at the item as written in the agenda, as an agenda item, making slight changes as Mr. Culkin has recommended, I don't find any problem with that. But why are we changing the entire agenda item to say something entirely different from what we have agendized?
Well, all it's really doing is changing the 6 months to 3 months.
That I can live with.
And we heard someone talk about the trigger date, thus giving us something we need to concern about, so that's why I included that as
We would
well.
want that to float, but I don't think we need to say
You
that.
don't need the 10 days because he doesn't get back to you by February on it. You're gonna make a decision then anyway.
No, that's true.
So you don't need the 10 days.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we ask the attorney to have a negotiation and we change the 6 months to 3 months, I think everything else is in place. I don't think we need to go through all the other terminology that we've used.
That's true. As long as we keep up on it.
I would like to put a date in there, though, February, March, April, May. I would like to have we have to make a decision in May. I would like to have a performance review in May.
February 24th.
If you extend it 3 months, then you have, the trigger time is in May, and I think we need to have a performance appraisal at that time. Otherwise, how can you make a decision as to whether you want to renew his contract or not?
Well, February's 28 days.
I
February,
know
March,
that, but
April.
if you
Has
extend
to
it,
be in
it's
April.
May, February, March, April, May.
Mr. Chair, if I may, the agenda item is listed as only to address negotiating an extension of the term of contract. So I think within the bounds of that, whether that's 6 months, whether you're authorizing the attorney to negotiate a period between 0 and 6 months extension or 0 and 3 months, I think for the noticed agenda item, that's probably the limits of which can be decided today. If you want to put terms
How
on.
about if I,
Well, once-
next meeting, I'll put on the fact that we want to do a review of him. We want to come up with goals and objectives, and then we want to see if he meets them in May. I'll do that on the next agenda, and that'll take care of that.
Okay, because we still, you're only asking the town attorney to enter in negotiations. There's no guarantees
That he'll say
that we'll
yes.
resolve this and that we'll be able to move that initial date. I think that's, and this could have been during preliminary discussions, that 6 months was reasonable at that time. You can limit that to 3 if you like. 6 months, I understand, was initially discussed, but that's about, getting back to the initial point of what's agendized and what's been noticed to the public, I think that's about the limitations of what can be decided. Whether or not we establish performance reviews or anything else related to the contract should be brought back and properly noticed.
Thank you.
That's my advice, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we do have a point of information.
Yes, it's Richard Goldstein of Pahrump. When is the date of the end of his contract? When is his contract up?
June 30th.
June 30th. What is a trigger date?
An
Is that-
automatic rollover to where it automatically gains 3 years.
Okay, in other words, we have to tell him by
February.
February
February
24th whether we're going to rehire him or...
Exactly.
Okay, then instead of talking about 60, 90, 30 days, you have till February 24th to make a decision whether you're going to fire him or keep him.
Well, what's happening is some people would like more time to evaluate that decision. And evaluation, the word that's been used here tonight, doesn't mean necessarily on paper. It means to, in their minds, decide what they want to do, to make their decision. We cannot, out of this table here, talk about it amongst ourselves.
Right.
So some of the board members would like some time to evaluate it.
Then let's extend the trigger date. Let's
Well,
not
that's-
worry about when his contract's up. If he agrees to extend the trigger date,
You're changing the
That
contract.
changes the contract,
Yeah.
can't do that.
Well,
You have to do both.
so we need to do both. So I'm listening to everybody. I think 90 days is fair. Move the trigger date 90 days and move the other 90 days.
May I talk?
Please.
What the hell? You know, what the heck? Name, John Erdag, citizen of Pahrump. The question that I have that's been thrown out is that you're listening to what the citizens want.
What's it?
I don't know what the citizens want. How are you going to determine what the citizens want? So far, I heard the only thing they want is to get rid of them. I had, maybe in the next meeting, he'll bring some of his friends over here, and they'll all say, yeah, let's keep them. So how are you going to determine what the citizens want?
That's why that's why I say 90 more days.
Cool.
Give it-
You're going to go to all the
So each
40,000?
member can have an opportunity to do their own evaluation and do
Yeah,
what they
are
need
we
to do.
able to go to the citizens and find out what we want? Are you gonna go to individual citizens and say, hi, guy, hey, I want to know what you want? All we've heard is negatives. In fact, that's all we've heard all night is negatives. I mean, it's very rare we ever hear any positives, but that's another
Give us a
whole thing.
chance.
I'd love to. I think it's great. I just want to know how you're going to do it. How are you going to get to see what the citizens want? Obviously, you're not going to talk to these troopers. We know what they want. So anyhow, thank you very much. I just wanted to ask how you are going to determine. Now, I think Vicki had it correct. You're going to come up with some goals or some whatever you call these things so that you could evaluate Bill. But anyhow, I sure hope you do it. And I think that either 3 or 6 months, and by the way, Mr. Waters is correct. It is 1 year in the service. But who cares, We're not the service, as you've mentioned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Neil Huff, I just wanted to bring to.
Sir, I'm sorry, but you're only allowed to speak one time on an agenda.
I thought because you were
Well-
changing the thing, you open it back up. That's what he did, right?
point of information. I have a point of information I'd like to say.
Yes, Mr. Cox.
Don't forget the 1,200 signatures.
You gotta speak in the.
Don Cox. Don't forget the 1,200 signatures we got.
They're right
And we could get a heck of a lot more than that. But don't make us go out and do it. And it isn't up to the board. It's to this bunch, what you do, it's what the citizens want. You know, it's not strictly you guys, it's what the citizens want. And you know what the citizens want. There's 1,200 there, we could quadruple that if we have to. But I don't want to go out and walk door to door. You know what we went through, Mike. Harley knows. Just about everybody in this room knows. There's no doubt about it, this man needs to be fired. You got to do it. Don't forget those 1,200 signatures, because that's going to be a big point.
Point of order, Mr. Darby. The motion was withdrawn. There was a new motion made. It was seconded. We're having public comment before the board voted to discuss this issue. So this comment's not even happening yet until the board votes. Then you open it up to public comment again.
No.
Actually, it was decided that the chair has the discretionary power to limit public comment.
Absolutely, and you have that ability, but the board hasn't voted on the second motion yet. And that's
No,
what
we
I'm
haven't.
saying.
So by not voting on the second motion, it should not be open to public comment. It's open to public comment once we have a first and a second.
That's correct.
We have not got a second on that motion.
There's been a first and there's been a second. I believe.
Not on the revised motion.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought she seconded the motion.
Okay, look,
I said I would second it if he amended it.
And we're having a discussion here.
She had it on a provision that Harley revised his revised motion.
all right, let's just make it simple. I withdrew my last motion,
I just wanted to make sure.
and I'm going to withdraw the next motion, so I'm going to, let's clarify. The motions, we're just going to make it this simple, because everything else we can address at a later date. We're going to ask the town manager, the town attorney, to enter in negotiations with Mr. Kohlbarger to extend his contract for 90 days. That would also extend the trigger date for 90 days. And it's that simple.
Do I have a second? Seeing no second, motion dies. All right, moving on to item 17. Their motion regarding this.
Mr. Chairman, on the motion that we had initially to accept exactly what we have in item 16 so that we can do due diligence, Mr. Culkin said it, he said it several times. You know, we were elected to do a job. Let us do the job. We're going to do the best we can, and what we have there is give us time to do it. And that's what we asked for when we put it on the agenda, and I'd like to stay with the agendized item. And that's my motion.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a first and a second. Is there any public comment? The motion is, as stated in the backup material, directing the town attorney to enter into formal negotiations with the town manager to amend the town manager's employment agreement to extend the period of the initial term to December 31st, 2011 from June 30th, 2011, with negotiations regarding the renewal of or amendments to the employment agreement to take place in September of this year.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
That was the original motion that you had public comment on already.
Yes.
So you're now opening up public comment on the exact same motion that you had earlier.
Thank you.
So my call for the vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It was 2-2. I'm abstaining, but I guess I have to vote to break the tie.
You can't abstain.
But what you're operating under. You can't vote on the exact same motion again. It's the same motion they voted on the first time.
No, it isn't.
No, we
Didn't
pulled
vote.
it.
We didn't vote on it.
Die? It died.
I withdrew the first motion. I made the first motion to simply open up public comment to hear what the public had to say. Then I withdrew my motion. There was no vote.
Okay, so it's a tie, 2-2.
Mr. Chairman,
You can't abstain.
how is your vote?
How about nay?
What's going on here? Oh, Jesus.
Bring this back on the next agenda.
Can you announce that?
We don't have to announce it.
I wish we would have done it for the 90 days.
Moving on to item 17, possible discussion and decision on consent agenda items.
Sir Chair, I move that we approve consent agenda items A through D.
Do we have a second?
Second it.
Is there any public comment on the consent agenda items?
You don't do public comment on it.
Seeing none, we'll go to vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number 18, future meetings and workshop dates, times, and locations. Anything from the board?
2 weeks from tonight, 7 o'clock here, town board meeting. We'll still be here.
Anything from town staff? All righty. Item number 19, public comment.
Go ahead. David, go ahead.
Dave Stevens, I still don't know what you guys are doing up there. I was getting ready to say I thought we had a pretty good town board this time. But I'll take that back. I don't know what we got.
Neither do I.
First of all, they ought to fire that lawyer. Kohlberger too. I know I'm not supposed to say anything about that. This is not right what you people are doing here. It's not right. Who said that? Who?
Not me. Behind the curtain.
He don't know nothing anyway.
You're right.
I don't think any of you guys know anything, and I was getting ready to say what a good town board we had this time. It's much different than the other bunch. There was a bunch of snakes in that bunch, as far as I'm concerned. Bad bunch of snakes. Anyway, I was going to say, it would be nice if you guys did get along with the commissioners. You just bypass that. So we could probably get something done in this town. I know I'll get heat out of that, because a lot of them, the Peanut Man, he ain't here, so I can say that. Everybody knows who the Peanut Man is. And I heard $19,000 for that lawyer. My high blood pressure went up. I talk to Carl Jerger up there all the time. I go out and get my teeth fixed. And he was a good lawyer. He charged $5,000 a month. So they come in here and they said he wasn't any good because he didn't paint Don Rust's house. That's the kind of stuff was going on here. And he's right, was the instigator of the whole thing. He got that man there for his own bodyguard or protection or something there. Nothing was said here about the lawyer. We got to get rid of this lawyer. The town is going broke. You got to watch the money. He's not watching the money, he's paying the money. You people are probably a pretty good town board, and I voted for every one of you. I voted for every one of you. I'm not saying I want to take my votes back, but you got to take the bull by the horns to get rid of that guy. The lawyer I'm talking about. No, I can't talk about Kohlberger. He's got enough problems here. But I still don't know when is did you extend his deal to December?
No, didn't do anything.
Huh?
We didn't
do anything. Well, then
Now,
I'm
trigger
sorry.
Trigger dates in February.
This
Well, I'm
board
very
agreed
humble,
to
and I'm
not
very
agree.
sorry, then you people are still good town board members. I'm getting ready to start using some language I'm not supposed to use here, but you're good board members. I got a lot of faith in you people, believe it or not. You gotta do the right thing here.
Thank you, Dave.
What, did I run out of time already?
Yeah.
He had his foot on the gas.
Huh?
He had his foot on the gas.
They shouldn't let him run the clock anyway. Go ahead, Butch.
Butch Harper, resident. First of all, I just want to say good luck to the new town board members. I hope you got your boxing gloves on. Anyway, I got a call either Thursday or Friday. A senior moment happens every once in a while from the VA, our local VA. He said a man, a veteran, well, he didn't say man or a woman, just a veteran, left a package for me.
Look at that.
This package is a package of, you know, it's patches. And it represents our men and women in our military. This allows me to continue to travel the United States to different children's hospitals. And the message I bring from the town of Pahrump is a positive, not negativity. My nephew at SIU University in Illinois picks all the negatives up on the internet. But this is one message that's positive in this, coming from this town, to let these children know and people around this nation that there's caring and loving people in this town. I'm talking about this whole town as a whole. A lot of good people here. And this is one proof. It cost me a lot of money for my trips, and I ain't gonna ask you to finance me or anything else, because it's a privilege for me to go out and go to these children's hospitals. Some make it, some don't. But I want them to know that we care. And this is proof right here. And I'll continue to do it as long as I get the patches and I can afford to make those trips. And this is 2 months at a time, 9,000 miles each time I go. I just want to thank this man or woman, I don't know the name, but I make a public thank you to whoever this person is. And I try to do that every time I receive something. Acknowledge every person that donates to this project. And I can't say much more, but if anybody got patches, you know where to get them and where to take them. And if anybody wants to match my $1,000 check, match it. Don't say I will. Do it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I'm back, and I do want to tell you folks that there is some real bright sun.
Your name?
You need to state your
John
name for the record.
John Zellifer of Pahrump.
Could you spell that?
Just like it sounds. Zellhoefer, and the first name is Jon.
The lady who transcribes that appreciates it.
Thank you. This last week I spent a grueling 3 days up at CES, and I can tell you that the prospects, the opportunities that technology is going to be bringing to Nye County are absolutely tremendous. The growth and speed of wireless internet, the opportunities in solar, the opportunities in monitored and distributed healthcare, the opportunities for energy reduction in our homes and businesses through very sophisticated low-cost systems that are coming are going to open up great opportunities for existing businesses here in Pahrump and Nye County, and also for new startup businesses. Anybody who is going to be looking at bringing a company to Nye County is going to do what I did for 20 years when I was in electronics and I was doing new site selection and building factories. They're going to spend time at the county and town level board meetings. It's part of their due diligence. I'm sure Bill could tell you that, and I'm sure Al Balakwi will tell you that. We spy, and we do a lot of homework. We check out the schools. We check out the way that the transportation systems work in an area before we go in and start even negotiating. I don't know much about the companies that have come in and talked to Al, and I don't know much about the companies that have been talked to by Eden. But I do know that the opportunities that are coming in just the next 2 or 3 years are great. They're fantastic opportunities. And actually, personally, what I saw here today, a little bit tough around the edges, a little bit tough for me to watch. But I think the conduct of the board was absolutely exemplary. You took it. Bill Kohlbarger took it. The attorney took it. They did not get ballistic. And I think anybody who's coming to look at Pahrump as a place to do business is going to understand that there's always opportunities for discussion. And even though it was a little bit vocal, I think everybody's behavior here tonight was good, and I paint a very, very rosy picture, and my recommendation to be buy in Pahrump right now. So, good night.
Thank you.
Can I ask you, Sir John, can I ask you what CES stands for?
Consumer Electronics Show.
Oh, the Consumer.
140,000 people in Las Vegas.
Right. Thank you. Yes.
We need a convention center.
Richard Goldstein at Pahrump. I just have a quick question. What's happening with the community center?
Tell him, Harley.
The damage from the rain kind of brought things to a head. It's been getting damaged for a number of years because of rain getting into it and stuff. So basically, we're at a point where we might have an opportunity weighing insurance and other issues, grants, and so on, that maybe we can rebuild it or build something bigger or do something with it. It's time that, in other words, it can't be patched anymore. And something needs to be done, and this is an opportunity to maybe to be able to do something. So there's different studies going on, and things were checked in the building to see where we're at. The back 2 rooms is where a lot of the damage is. The plate on the wall, it's all gone. You know, you have a block wall, then you have a wood plate sitting here flat, and then you have your wood on it. The back, who designed it was a real genius. The roof's totally flat when they had plenty of room to tilt it and get some pitch and run the water off. So, you know, it sat up there and it's rotted things for years. So, like I said, so now a decision needs to be made. First, obviously, you want to get all the information you can, what your options are, and then a decision will be made what we're going to do.
Is this the same? Is this the same part of the? Wasn't part of this building damaged by fire a number of years ago, or a few years ago? No.
Not that I know.
No, I think I did hear something about that long before I moved here. I think there was a fire in there or something. That rings a bell, but I can't say for sure. But it's not because of that.
I will tell you that Harley and I visited it today. Harley's the one with the technical knowledge. But I can tell you, it stinks to high heaven. That mold is grim. You don't want to walk in the door. And I left. I left Harley to poke around at the ceiling with Matt Lewis. It's not a building you want to go in. And the other thing I would like to address, because there's been a lot of talk about that black plastic. It has the insurance company, when they came in, put that plastic there. I'm not sure why they want to keep the sun out, but that's part of their procedure. And they've got negative air machines in there and dehumidifiers and everything else. It's not that we were trying to hide anything. It's just that's the way that the insurance company sealed the building. So it's nothing you want to tour, believe me.
Thank you.
Good evening again, it's Bob Irving. I just want to say, and I have to go agree with the gentleman that was 2 times before me here. The board I see here, I voted for every one of you, and I'll tell you one thing right now. I hope that the board keeps up the way they're going, that you do listen to what the people are saying and ask the people what they. Ask people questions instead of sitting up there looking like a bunch of zombies. And if we don't get going here pretty soon, Caroline's going to fall asleep with her head on the deal there. But anyway, yes. Thank you. Good luck to you there, Mike, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Irving, we have to know, though, that we're not all going to agree all the time. So we will have some opportunities to probably have disagreements about very important issues. One thing that came out of the open meeting work workshop that was performed today was, they stated from the beginning, this is a painful thing that you're going to go into. They called it that. They said, you're going to be receiving pain from your volunteer work. So it's not an easy process to go through, so I thank you for your support.
Hi. Donna Cox back again. I saw part of the county commission meeting last week, the new one with the new board, and I was amazed. For the first time, they have actually had somebody on the board talk other than Joni Easley, and I have to contribute that to Dan Shinhofen. And I think it's opened up, he's opened up a whole new dialogue, and I like what he's done. And I've seen very much the similar here tonight. This needed to be done a long time ago. I think that's why we ended up with new board members, because the people want to stay here. They want to hear open dialogue for or against whatever. They wanted transparency. That's all the people really wanted, was you to be responsive to them. And so don't worry about it if you think you're keeping us all up late, because actually we're keeping you up late. In the meantime, though, I do have a couple of questions about the community center and a couple of comments. For one thing, when mold comes from the ceiling down, it can be abated. It's not the same as when mold comes from the ground up. If there is some mold within the ceiling, it can be cleaned up and restored and the roof fixed to hold us over at least until we could get a new community center. And the people deserve it. You know, they pay taxes here as high as what you pay in California, and I think it would be great for this town to have a new community center and a large community center. You know, you can remove basketball courts, you can remove fields, you can do whatever you have to, redo the parking lots, but we need to get a much larger community center. If any of you get the chance, it would behooves you to go up to Mesquite perhaps and look at what they have done in their town over the last 10 years. It's amazing. And it serves everybody. It even serves their town offices. It serves their town offices as well as the meetings. And it didn't cost them a whole lot of money. The one thing I am against is using modulars. You know, this is a building, but it's nothing to really be proud of. For the amount of money they spent on here, they should have put it towards a stick-built building, something that's really going to be permanent. And in fact, if the county's going to be moving all of their departments down to the Calvada I eventually, you might even consider purchasing, maybe for $1 or so, the property they have out front where they now have their planning department, and get rid of those modulars and put something out there that's attractive that the public will see when they drive by, and it will encourage them to, you know, that's one of the things that would encourage them to stay here, because it looks like we're making some progress. Okay, thank you. That's all I have to say.
Just a quick comment about the board. Don Cox. I too have been impressed tonight. All 5 of you. So just keep the good work. What I liked the most about tonight, I didn't hear the chair up there going, we have to listen to this. We heard that in the audience from Nicole and Dolan, his slide remarks. We didn't hear any of that tonight. I'm glad. Right at this point, I'm proud, because I think we're going to go someplace. Thank you.
Getting tired. Last time tonight, I put one of these in each one of your boxes up at on the podium tonight. William came and took them down and threw them out in the hallway. I don't know what he's thinking. I thought this was a good way to begin the year. I have so much optimism, I cannot tell you. I know you can do it. Vicki, you can do it. I got faith in you, you know. Just try harder.
Would you put those in our boxes at the office, and that way you can be sure that we'll get them?
This is the last one I have. Anyway, I thought it was a very good article by Marie, very appropriate and timely, so I wanted to share it and maybe set the...
Okay, if you put them in our boxes, you know, we'll know for sure that we'll get them.
Yeah, I didn't get them till today, Vicki, so if you need any help...
Thank you for thinking
I'd be
of
more
us.
than happy. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? You were already up here, Steve, or Dave.
I just want to make one fast speech.